Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Dearkin, you know what's happened? It's been more than 48 hours, and that means there's more big decomp energy out there in the world. That is because as of yesterday, a Snowboard Kids 2 static recompilation came out from CD Lewis and Dario Samo. And honestly, I just did a video saying that this thing was 100% decompiled, and even though a decompilation isn't required for a static recompilation, I'm sure it helped, and now today, you can play Snowboard Kids 2 on your PC, and is absolutely the de facto standard way to play now in my opinion. Because Snowboard Kids and Snowboard Kids 2 are some of the best deep cut games on the N64. People that know them absolutely love them, and people that have never played before are now going to have a static recomp for at least the sequel. And that is just 10 out of 10 straight up awesome in my book, because this game is so much fun and it has an entire story mode, considering it's basically just a downhill snowboard racing game. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Now it should go without saying, the obvious big improvement here is going to be full widescreen support, higher internal running resolution, as well as a better frame rate. And even though Snowboard Kids didn't have the worst frame rate on N64, it can definitely be a lot better than base hardware or even overclocked on something like Analog 3D or Mister, and we have that here now today. And that in and of itself is absolutely just straight up amazing. Now it's not in yet, hopefully we see it at some point in the future, but I'd love to get some online netcode for this as well, so you can play against your friends that weren't sitting there in the room with you. I don't know if that's going to be expected, but it's just one of those things on my kind of checklist of things I'd wish would happen. Getting some online servers definitely be a fun time. But the main takeaway right off the top is just look how incredible this actually appears on your screen. Yes, the textures are still going to be low resolution because it is still N64 assets, and no, I couldn't find a single texture pack for this when I googled it, but maybe I just missed it. But it is still absolutely night and day different compared to its N64 original, and that's just straight up so amazing, because it seems like at least once a week now we are getting N64 recomps or source ports. And considering the N64 library isn't the most massive thing in the world, I feel like in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to have the large majority of the N64 games that you would want to play available as either static recomps or source ports based upon the decompilation. And that really is an exciting time, because when I talk about these projects, I don't just say these are for us, the people that have nostalgia for these games. It's also for a newer generation of people getting into retro gaming, because I get statistics on the different age groups that watch my channel, and 18 to 25 is quadrupled in the last year, and I'm fairly confident that's just because people are getting tired of modern gaming costing so much, taking forever to actually update, and every single new game kind of feeling like it's 75% copying a game that came previously that sold well and was successful. Back in the N64 era, you had so much fun experimental stuff going on, and people are now discovering that again for the first time, and it's just absolutely something. We want retro to grow, not shrink or stay stagnant, and the bigger the tent with the more people in it, the more fun projects we're going to get in the future. And that honestly just is a great thing, and having recomps like this that increase the frame rate and make it look quote unquote more modern are just going to ease the transition for more people to get into these games if they didn't grow up on the N64. You can leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you play Snowboard Kids back in the day or not? I remember owning the original game, and I rented Snowboard Kids 2 from Blockbuster. Wish I had never returned it, because honestly that game costs a fortune now. But honestly, if I'm going to play this game moving forward, it is going to be the static recomp version, because it really just is that much better. And if we take a look at the motion cadence here, that higher frame rate just allows for the game to be smoother all the way across the board. Now the controls are still going to be the controls, which is to say they were great on N64, they're going to be great here, but you're getting more visual smoothness. But honestly, the game was immediately playable back on original hardware, so it's not like it's quote unquote improved here. It is just the same fun gameplay loop over and over again. And honestly, if you didn't love Snowboard Kids 2, there's nothing here that's going to convince you to suddenly love it. But if you did love the game, then this is going to convince you that you need to do another 100% playthrough, because honestly this is now just so much better than what we got on N64. Let's go into the first two soundtrack samples so you can hear the audio quality in the static recomp, and I'll come back, show you more courses, more modes, and talk about just how big of a deal this one truly is. But enjoy! No, I mean, that sounds exactly like Snowboard Kids 2 should to me at least, but you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think. My one observation on the audio though is the master volume might be a little bit too high in the recomp menu. Now it could be something with my DAC, but at default volume it was slightly clipping out my speakers and my actual headphones, so I brought it down more to about 60%. That seemed to be a little bit better for me. Now again, it could just be an odd combination of my DAC alongside of the recomp, but maybe when you first start out, bring the audio volume down ever so slightly and then increase until you get to a comfortable level. And I'm sure if it is an issue, it's something that could be easily updated in the future. But again, as we go through this, it's just absolutely mind-blowing how well it runs. And honestly, our nostalgia for N64, if you haven't played these games in a long time, tells us this is how the games actually ran back in the day, when in reality this game did not get anywhere near the 60 plus frames per second that you were seeing here. And I do hope this one gets a texture pack, even though some of the textures are absolutely fun and hilariously blurry. I think if you actually got some new textures, you'd get even more people into the mix. No, I'm not saying making texture packs is an easy thing, it definitely requires a lot of work, but this game is so fun and so special, I definitely think it would benefit from that. Now going through the menu here, you're going to see that we have this standard menu for a static recomp, at least on the N64 recomp side of things. You're going to be able to change all of your controls up. You're going to be able to actually just kind of play around with the dead zone on your analog stick in case you do want to adjust that. For me, an Xbox Series X at default definitely worked exactly how I needed it to. You're going to be able to set the frame rate. You're going to be able to expand to 16:9 as well, but you can definitely keep it to 4:3 if you want more of that original OG look going on. And you'll see here in the music volume, that's the one I would bring down to maybe 60%. And this does have a mod engine in it as well. Not really many mods that I've found so far, but they could be out there, and I'm sure more people will make more of these. Because what I really want to see is the same thing we see with stuff like Mario Kart Amped Up. I want another 2 dozen amazing courses in something like Snowboard Kids 2, so we can just basically expand the fun even more. And I love that this game, for what amounts to a racing game, has boss fights in it. Taking out the snowman here with all of the bombs, it is absolutely one of the most fun levels in the game, and I still remember this level as a kid. I had no idea it was coming, and it absolutely just kind of amused me, and it still has that exact same vibe today. I mean, what other game, downhill snowboarding or racing, has a boss fight against another car? I guess Wong and Midnight Maximum Tune technically has boss fights, but they're more rival challenges. Just sliding downhill in the static recomp of Snowboard Kids 2, fighting a giant snowman that came alive in the previous story cutscene. It's just a 10 out of 10 straight up vibe, and I'm 100% here for it every day of the week. But again, you tell me down below, did you play this game back in the day? Because I feel like most people came to it later in life. Let's do one more soundtrack sample, and I'll be right back with just a little bit more. So if I go down my checklist of what I look for in a static recomp or a source PC port, absolutely Snowboard Kids 2 excels at every single criteria. Are the graphics improved? Do you get widescreen? And do you get a better frame rate? 100%. Is the audio working correctly? It is. Maybe just need to lower that master volume ever so slightly. Is the control input correct? Does it feel like you're playing the game you know, love, and remember? And is there no latency in the controls? Absolutely as well. And honestly, it's just a more fun version of a game that absolutely is an N64 hidden gem. And I know I just recently did a best emulator for every console video, but honestly, games that have static recomps or source ports based upon decompilations, I would go to those any day and play those versus actually going to emulation. And don't get me wrong, software emulation for N64 and emulating retro games is an amazing thing that I'm so glad we're able to do, but at some point in time, emulation, at least for N64, might be quote-unquote basically made obsolete if every single game has a static recomp or source port. Now that we have Snowboard Kids 2, I'm going to ask the same question I always ask, and you can't say Snowboard Kids 2 anymore. You can snap your fingers and make one recomp or source port appear. Which one would it be? I'm going to go with Sin and Punishment because I want that game with mouse input. GitHub links in the description below, but other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.